There's no kink. There's no energy exchange whatsoever. All right. So it's just somebody who just likes just do everything that ain't dealing with kink. Does anybody have any questions? Let me know, because I need to break this down to you so you can understand, what a POS Brittany is and why I'm kind of shocked that nobody called her out so far. All right. So even though I have retired from the business, there are some times, before I got married, where I would be interested in doing certain dominant things to men, right? But you always have to have consent, especially if they're vanilla. And when someone does something to you without consent, not only have they violated your trust, they violated your boundaries, but they also violated you as a person. You always need...
Please recommend a DSLR camera I should get for streaming. I'm looking to upgrade my equipment. The go-to cheap suggestion before was always an A6100, I feel like. This was your good stepping stone between a really expensive setup versus a decent camera. But I don't know if there's a newer camera that people recommend or not. So I don't know. That's what we recommend in the past.
Consent. Now, you can get consent without being boring by saying, hi, let me see. What could I use an example? Scenes with a contract. That's y'all watch too much, what was the name of the kink movie?
Response to the vanilla allegation. She's saying that I don't live a kink lifestyle, which is true. I don't know the BDSM shit that well, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But when people talk, in common parlance, when people say are you into BDSM? What they really mean is, are you into restraints and choking? That's what most people mean. 95% of people say, oh, you like BDSM? Oh, I'm sub, I'm dom. What they really mean is, I either like to choke you or I like to lay there and do fucking nothing. That's what 95% of people mean. But in actual BDSM relationships, the power exchanges are a lot more visceral. They're a lot more prevalent and sometimes in everyday life, the relationship you have with your partner, and then the acts that exist in the bedroom and the relationships between those acts and the partners, they all of them have these undertones or overtones, I guess, of sub-dom relationships or whatever. When she says I live a vanilla lifestyle, she's saying that I don't live a life of kink. I don't participate in any of that, which is true, which is gonna be true for most people, yeah. Even if you are a dom or a sub person, or even if you do restraints or BDSM, most of the people that say that don't actually live these lifestyles, they just like to do fun things during sex sometimes. It's a different thing, yeah.
50 Shades of Grey. Contracts are only for a slave-dominant relationship. You know what I'm saying? So say, for instance, I want to tie a guy. Well, look at Darius. What? I don't need a contract with Darius, okay? Darius pissed me off. Darius disrespected me. And he wanted to do a collab because he thought I forgot. I told you I hold grudges. And I said, no, Darius, you're going to have to submit to me. I need to punish you.
You're the man. Thank you. I will start there. And if need be, I can downgrade. Well, listen, bro. Somebody in chat just said my advice is 10 years old. I don't know if this is the new, or if this is still the go-to. Hold on. Let's check. Is the A6100 still a good buy for beginners? The A6100 has weather sealing, better build quality, better EV. I would pick the A6100 every single time. Okay, well, this guy 6 months ago said this. So, but this might even be more expensive, so I don't know. Good luck, buddy.
I was very explicit about that, didn't I? Press one if you were here. I said, I must punish you. The only way I will collab with you, you must submit to me. I use those exact words. I said, you made me mad.
Is there a difference between being a sub and being a woman? Yeah, they have nothing to do with each other.
Piss me off. The only way you're going to do a collab is you must submit to me for punishment. I am upfront and honest what I want to do to him. And I said, I want to cane you, spank you.
Have we had enough female crazy orbiters or encounters to change your shitty bubble-wrapped view of women? Or no, more do we need, LOL. I don't know, Golem86. Throw your mom up here and we'll see, okay? What's your bedroom stamina methodology? Just come over and over and over again, okay? Have 50 orgasms, okay?
I want to paddle you. I'm going to tie you up, pull your hair. I just talk all the stuff that result in pain. So I was upfront with him, okay? What you don't do as a woman, or you don't do as a dom, you never do something that someone is not aware that's coming, and you don't do it without consent. So, for example, we'll use Darius again. Say, for instance, Darius didn't know I had a grudge. Didn't know I was still pissed off that he disrespected me.
Is he, when she's talking about Darius, is she talking about our Darius or is it another Darius?
And I want an apology. So let's say, for instance, he was like, he forgot all about it.
Or is she just using him as a hypothetical example? She didn't actually do anything with him. She was saying hypothetically, this is... Why does Tree have 5'11" energy? Bro, Tree is 6'3" or something. She is insanely tall.
Tree, let's do a collab. And I'll go, yeah, come on over to Georgia. I'll drive up to Atlanta and yeah, we'll do a collab. You can, how about we go to this dungeon? We can have some drinks and stuff like.
Oh, he agreed to do this when he's, okay.
And he gets there. I grab him.
I don't know if you're dreaming about coming over and over, but the boys at PK have a solution for our small load friends. Oh, that lock and load shit. I actually tried that for a month or two and it didn't do anything. I don't think that lock and load stuff does anything. If you want to come a lot, there's 3 things you can do. 1 is edge, 2 is wait at least a day or 2 between orgasms, and then 3 is make sure you're drinking lots of water. Those are, I think, from everything I've read and seen, I think those are like the only things that will actually help you. There's a ton of other people that talk about like all these weird cum tricks or whatever you can do. I don't believe it, and I feel like there's so many mixed reviews online from all of it. I don't know if I believe any of that shit. Were you taking 9 pills? Yes, that is a 9 pill a day regimen. It's fucking retarded. And I don't think it did anything at all. I don't think it helped at all.
I tie his ass down, and then I put a ball gag in his mouth, and I just start beating him. That violated his boundaries. That was done with...
Some people say, so Jessica said celery literally works, or it did for me. When people say celery works, my guess is what's happening. I could be wrong, but celery is like 95% water. I think celery is literally just more water. If you drink water, then you're going to come more, like literally. I can edge for like 2 hours and go 3 days without coming. If I've drank no water, I'll spurt like 1 drop. Even your mom would be disappointed. I don't know how that makes sense. You figure it out.
Without consent. That was done without his permission. You never, ever...
Do you have trouble coming on Vyvanse? I'm using that shit and it takes a lot longer for me to come. Okay, I will give you 1 negative side effect of Vyvanse, okay? Warning, okay? This is a negative side effect of Vyvanse, okay? Be very, very, very careful. I don't know if this is everybody or just me, okay? Be very, very, very careful because you can unironically fall into a gooning black hole, I think, if you're on amphetamines. You could decide to masturbate at 6 o'clock and then it's 10 o'clock and you don't even know how the fuck that happened, okay? Do not, if you take an amphetamine, like a slow release like Adderall XR or Vyvanse, if you take it at 9, don't masturbate until 9 or 10 at night, okay? If you start masturbating while you're on your medication and it's coursing through you, you might fucking masturbate for 5 hours and not realize it, okay? Be careful. You do not want to do your medicated gooning sessions, all right? Oh, celery also might work because it has zinc too. If you're deficient in anything, then obviously getting your levels up would help too. Zinc is also good, I think, if you're deficient in zinc. I think they can also affect your testosterone levels quite a bit. Or at least a little bit.
Ever do that. You never do that. You never do that. Okay? Any man or woman who...
Apparently wanting a big load is a male fantasy thing and most women actually hate it. That is almost certainly not true. But...
violates a person's boundaries and you do something against them without consent, you are a dangerous person and you're also you're a POS. Now, even though I'm retired, the part of me of looking at people playing safely, especially with vanillas, is important. And sometimes I see things that other people don't see. So Destiny is famous for being friends with bad people. And when it came to Brittany...
Fuck, I already know everything she's going to say, and I know this. Oh, I already know. I pre-watched this in my brain. I already know everything she's going to say, and I understand what she's going to say, and she's 100% right. Normally, I wouldn't care. I shouldn't say that I wouldn't care. I should always care, actually. But it's actually bad because I'm setting a bad example. I've even talked about this before. Okay, real quick. Okay, sex talk time, okay? Never, ever, 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 ever negotiate anything in the middle of an act because people will agree to things that they probably don't actually want to do. For instance, if you get a girl really horny, you might get her to agree to fuck her in the ass because she's horny and she's like, fuck it, let's go for it, okay? The problem with doing things in the middle of when you're heated is because you're horny, you're in an emotional state, you're like feeling good, you've got all the endorphins, you've got everything going. You might agree to something and after when you're done, you're like, fuck, I actually really didn't want to do that. This was, fuck me. This is like a line that I didn't want to cross. Like, another good example is coming in somebody unprotected, right? Some girls might be like, oh, like, let's wear a condom. You're like, oh, well, fuck it. I'll start without a condom. I'll get one later, blah, blah, blah. When it comes to actually time comes, you're like, fucking fill me up, baby. I can get a plan B. Fuck it. Yeah. Negotiating things in the moment is almost always bad unless you have a high level of trust and you know that you're with somebody that has a big, big, big backbone. There was a girl that I hung out with in Sweden that that was very, very, very good in the moment about like setting boundaries. One of the only people I've met who, yeah. And so I think like if I was somebody like that, I could be like, hey, do you want to do this? She'd be like, no, I don't actually want to do this. Cool. Most people, unless you know them and you've got a high level of trust, you know they're really firm on their boundaries. Most people, you do not negotiate things in the middle of an act because there's a lot of pressure to agree. The emotions, everything are running wild, blah, blah, blah. I think what Tree is going to bring up is that we're on a live stream. I'm trying to look cool or be cool for my audience or whatever. Brittany's this little, 4'11" girl who suggests like, oh, can I slap you? It'd be cute. I don't think I've ever been slapped before. I don't think so. So to introduce me to a new like kind of power dynamic kink play thing like this in the middle of a live stream that I hadn't negotiated ahead of time for her enjoyment and benefit, like in the moment, is a pretty egregious act of violation of consent. I think that's the argument that Tree's about to make, and she is 100% right. I should have said. I should have either lied and said, sure, since we've talked about this first, so that the audience wouldn't get the wrong impression, or I should have told Brittany, like, maybe tomorrow we can do it. Let's talk about this first. That's what I should have done.
He thought that Brittany was this.
Didn't you have domestics with your baby mama? Yeah, but we didn't usually hit each other unless it was with like other things. Usually we were just like grabbing each other and choking each other or pushing each other.
Girl. That he could trust. I do believe, if anybody from DGG is here, you can correct me. I do believe Destiny had the nerve to say he could trust Brittany with his credit card and his bank information. Am I misquoting him?
Slapping during childhood can get traumatic such triggering later in life. It's very personal, so be careful. Oh, Jesus Christ, maybe, yeah. Well, when Brittany slapped me, I didn't get triggered. I did find out, though, which is kind of funny because I've always considered myself immune from trauma because I'm a god. I do have one trauma trigger, so if you're a woman or you ever want to trigger me in life, but if I'm in an argument with somebody and they put their hands on me to like prevent me from moving, that actually, my brain gets into super fuck mode, not in a good way, like very quickly. I realized that in a disagreement I had with Melina where I wanted to leave the room and she like grabbed me. I was like, why the fuck are you touching me right now? Like, are we about to fucking fight? That actually drives me insane. I didn't feel it with Alex though when guys do it to me. Maybe it's only fighting women. I guess most of my fights have been with women, huh? I guess all of my fights have been with women, so. Paste.
Okay, so that is correct. That is correct, right? When I saw that,
oh, that's not actually true though. I did get slapped by a girl once in high school because I wanted to date her friend. The girl that I got rides with. I just remembered that. She slapped me in front of my whole band. The whole band class. What a dramatic event. And then I dated her friend for 2 weeks. And on the day that I brought her flowers and dropped them off, she broke up with me and said, because she'd figured out she was a lesbian. And then I was depressed, and then I hung out with another one of their friends in her house for the night. And then that friend would go on to become my first real girlfriend and wife. First wife.
Said, Lord, this little fool. Okay. I cannot believe he said that about this clown. Now, what y'all don't remember, and I'm talking to GGG here.
The girl you rode with to middle school slapped you? Yeah, what a crazy dramatic situation. I think I've told most of the story before, but basically, like, I was getting rides with her. We were making out every single day after school in her car. I guess I was just not as horny back then. I don't know how I handled like making out with a girl every day and not actually doing anything more sexually. I guess because I was a virgin. I was like, 14 or 15, so I didn't think about it. We were making out every day in our car, but she had a boyfriend who was in another state. And I think eventually I started to feel like, well, there was a group, there were 5 friends in this friend group. So the first one was the one that gave me rides, not the good rides apparently. Eventually got to the point to where I started to express interest in her friend, but then she kind of started to ramp up her attention to me, like she was like touching me through my pants and shit. And then I think one day I had asked the other girl, her friend, out if she wanted to go on a date, and then that one girl that was giving me rides, like, I remember she fought with me in the car for my phone. And if she got my phone, it was all over because she'd see me texting her friend. And this was back in the day when you didn't have like lock screens on your phone. Like if somebody just got your phone, they could just like look at everything. There was no locking, or at least I didn't know about it back then. I don't think anybody locked their flip phones. Could you even lock a phone back then? Does anybody know actually? Because I'm trying to remember. I feel like you couldn't. I don't think you could lock your phones back then. You just had like, it was just your phone, and like people would just like look at everything. Maybe you had to manually set it or something. Fuck, I'm trying to think of what the phone was. Hold on. Old keyboard slide phone. Was it? Oh my God. It would have been from the year 2002. No, 2004? What was it? A Nokia? I don't think it was. I feel like it looked like this kind of thing. I feel like it was a Samsung something. Fuck me, I'm not gonna be able to find it. Like this phone? Maybe? Maybe. This might have been it. This might have been it. People are saying a Sidekick. No, not this. I would remember this. Whatever the fuck this is. But anyway, yeah, we fought with... we didn't fight, but we kind of wrestled in the car. She was trying to make deals with me. She's like, I'll let you touch my boobs. I'll let you touch my panties and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like fighting for my phone. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do any of that. And she's like trying to get it from me. She wants to read these messages. And then I think eventually she gets my phone. And eventually she reads the messages. And I didn't even get to touch her boobs. And then... But my issue was that I had asked her if, like, do you think that we're ever going to date or anything? But she had a boyfriend that went to another school. And I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of weird. You're, like, mind-fucking me, and you're cheating on your boyfriend, and I don't even get to talk to another girl? This seems kind of fucked. But then she was like, but whatever. I didn't say any of that because I was a beta fucking 15-year-old loser. So she drops me off. I think the next day she picks me up. We go to school, or she drops me off at my school, and then she goes to her school. And then that evening... I have jazz band. I think jazz was after school. Her and her two friends. So it was her, the one friend that I was texting, and then a third friend, Catherine, my first serious girlfriend / wife, but I didn't know her that well then. All of them walk into my school, and then they walk into my band class, and it's a really big deal because I go to an all-boys school. I go to a Jesuit school, and all three of them walk in, and I'm like near the entrance of the band room, and obviously everybody's looking because like, oh my God, there are girls here. And then without saying anything, the girl that gives me rides, she walks up to me, she slaps me in the face. And then I think she says to her friends like, oh, that felt good. And they were like, yeah, good job, girl. And then all three of them walked away and left the class. And I remember my band teacher looked at me and he laughed because Mr. Johnson was fucking hilarious. What an awkward moment. My God. And then they left, but they waited downstairs because she had to give me a ride home anyway. And then I don't know how I went from there to the teacher 100% respected you more after that. Yeah, I mean, obviously it looks like I'm doing some crazy Playboy shit. But in reality, this girl's like fucking like, I'm on a wild ride here, okay? I'm on a wild ride. I didn't have a car yet. This girl's my only way to get to and from school, okay? I didn't have my little 95 Dodge Neon piece of shit yet. So this is my only fucking ride, okay? I'm trying to think of how I dated her friend afterwards, though. I don't know why they would have been okay with it. Why are you presenting it as awkward when you clearly feel some pride from it? Why would I feel pride from it? It was insanely fucking awkward. I dated her friend afterwards for 2 weeks, and then I remember that we went to a movie. I don't remember what movie we saw. I do remember. I think. Wait, now I'm going to see if the dates line up. I want to say we went and saw V for Vendetta, but it would have had to have come out in like 2004, 2005 because it was in theaters. When did this movie come out? Oh shit, it was V for Vendetta. We went and we saw V for Vendetta, and then we, Destiny, her friends must have talked her up to do that shit too. Yeah, they were all probably talking, probably trying to say that like I was being like some crazy double agent or whatever. I remember we held hands in the theater, because that was like a really big deal back then. Because you're like sitting next to a girl and you're, oh, it's so cute. Do you remember like high school? And you're like, you don't know if you're going to hold hands or not. So you kind of like inch closer and all that gay shit or whatever. And then we did that. I don't think we ever kissed. And then eventually my older sister went to take me to drop flowers off at her house because I didn't have a car yet. And on my way to drop flowers off at her house, another girl, Catherine, texted me and told me not to do it. It was a huge mistake. And I'm like, why? I think I like her. I think I should give her flowers. This was like a cool thing to do. And she's like, don't do it. And I'm like, okay. And then I dropped him off. And I think that night she told me, listen, I don't think we can date. I'm a lesbian. I'm like, okay. And she was a full-blown lesbian, I guess. Okay. And then I started dating Catherine, who was really cool for a few years. And that was my first serious girlfriend for like 3 years. The one I got married to for college. What a wild ride. Yeah, I don't know. Was everyone dating the same people? I don't know. I feel like people dated around in groups of friends and whatnot, no? Do you ever talk to your exes? Yeah, I hung out with Catherine, I think 2 years ago. She lived in like New Orleans or something, and then we hung out a little. Yeah, she was cool. It's changed a lot, but... Or no, actually, I've probably changed a lot. I think I'm on good terms with every ex, except for Melina, who I will never be on good terms with. Fuck that demon. Yeah, I'm on good terms with every ex, basically. How have you always pulled LeMayo? I don't know. I was always like in groups of friends with women, and I was always comfortable talking with women. And I was always pretty confident, I guess. I looked like a hideous fucking acne demon, though. Jesus Christ. Are you on good terms with Bad Bunny? I was, but not after the socialist shit and everything. Jesus, how horrible. Were you always comfortable online chatting with girls? Online chatting with girls? I don't know. It's like a whole other thing. I remember that I think I've said this before. I had an e-girlfriend for like 2 weeks who cut herself. I don't even know how. I want to say she played Gaia online, but I don't know how we met because I didn't play Gaia online. Every girl, by the way, before Tumblr, if a girl played Gaia online, she was always fucking crazy. Always fucking crazy. I'm basing this off of one girl, by the way, but that's enough for me, okay? Gaia online is insane. I used to think it was so weird, but I guess it helped me understand the cutting thing a little bit because she would be talking, she'd get like super emotional. I would have no idea what to say. I was like 14. What the fuck am I going to do to help you with your fucking crazy problems? She would get really emotional. She'd start to cry, and then she would just start cutting herself, and it would calm her down a ton. Like you could hear her crying, and then as soon as she'd start cutting, she'd be like, she'd be like super calm and in control. I was like, oh, okay. That was weird. I think I said this to her. I remember masturbating once on the phone for she must have been a pedophile, because I was like 14, and this woman was like 40 on the phone, and it was on the landline phone. Like you had to call, like you had to listen for your parents picking up. Jesus. Damn, I did a lot of crazy, retarded shit. I remember once when I needed a ride to school, before I got a car and after after my friend in high school stopped giving me rides, there was a girl that I met in Channel Sex on Battle.net who was in her 20s, and she gave me, because she happened to live near me, and she gave me a ride to school one day. How fucking bizarre. She picked me up, she gave me a ride, we'd like exchanged like 2 words in the car. She was like 8 years older than me, dropped me off, and then I had to get I couldn't have walked home, I must have gotten another ride home. We never spoke again. We didn't have like DMs or anything. We just like talked on Battle.net sometimes, and there was no like instant messenger there. You told us, yeah. She must have been like a fucking pedophile though, maybe? I'm not even sure. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Do you know if that Gaia girl is still alive? I have no idea. I could have rizzed her up for a sec. Yeah, probably. If I would have been on my 14-year-old Riz game. You must have given off strange vibes as a kid? No, I think I was pretty funny. I think if you're funny, I think you can literally... Well, I don't know now, but like, because all the red pill stuff is like brainwash you guys, or maybe the world is different. But when I was a kid, if you can make people laugh, bro, if you can make anybody laugh, I think that comedy and humor develop a ton of different types of social skills. Because if you really think about it, making somebody laugh requires a certain degree of empathy. It requires a certain degree of emotional intelligence. It requires a certain degree of conversational awareness. It requires a certain degree of like wit or intelligence, right? Like if I can talk to somebody for 2 or 3 minutes, remember a couple of key facts, weave something they've said into a joke later on, like it shows I'm funny, it shows that I'm making appropriate humor, it shows that I'm like intelligent because I'm witty enough to do it, it shows that I'm paying attention to the conversation. Like, I don't know, I feel like humor is like just like such a good way to get close to anybody. I feel like if you can make anybody laugh, I think you're so fucking set. I think that's why when I came to the internet, I was so mindfucked by people like, oh my God, you're 5'8", like no girl like you, oh my God, you're 5'8". Like I didn't even know that 5'8" was like short. I never even considered it because I feel like if I can make a girl laugh, I'm like always like good to go. I'm like in. You're in, baby. I mean, I say in, but like there's gonna be, to be fair, there's a lot of girls that would never fuck with me or date me or anything, like cheerleaders or some shit like that, I guess. Hold on, I had a rare occurrence at 14 where some women came up to me and asked me to fuck, so I ran away cringe. I had one moment like that in my life. When I was, I think it was when I was 20 and I was working at the casino. I had everything on the casino. This is why I never thought I would get fired. This is why getting fired from that job fucked me up so much, okay? I'm really good at my jobs, my works, okay? I have really good people skills. That's like what I excel at the most, okay? When I worked at the casino, I had every part of this job and every part of this casino on lockdown, okay? Like, I was friends with all of the pit bosses that were out on the floor. I was friends with all the guys that worked in security. I was friends with all the cocktail servers. I knew all of them personally. And I could do every job, like, in the casino. Or, I'm sorry, I could do every job in the kitchen. And I knew a lot of jobs in the casino too. Like if a customer came in, they were complaining they were having a rough night. I was like, oh, well, are you gambling with your rewards card? Oh, hey, let's go talk to some dude. I bet we can get you a comp for fucking food, blah, blah, blah. Like I knew every part of this job. I was so good with customers and so good with all the employees. And I had it set up such that like, so sometimes a cocktail server will come in and oftentimes they'll come in to, during like a rush hour, right? They'll come in at like, 4 or 5 or 6 when it's really fucking busy and there's a line at the door and they'll be like, hey, I've got an order, like, and they would come up to me and they'd place the order personally. And if they placed it with me personally, since I was supervising the shifts, I don't have to be in one area. I could cook everything on the menu. I would just run back and I'd cook. So I could run back, I could cook their order, be perfect, because it was line cooking. It's not hard. I'd be done in 8 minutes. I'd have their plate. And in exchange for that, okay, nobody at the casino knew this, but there was a chocolate milkshake machine that was in the back of the Diamond Lounge for the Diamond players. And so I had all these cocktail servers would bring me chocolate milkshakes throughout my shifts as long as I would go back and like cook the meals for the customers that they would order for so that I could get their food way quicker than if they were to order through any other server or through the line or whatever. One of these servers was really flirty with me once. And I was just I wasn't even a virgin, but I was just a fucking retard, I guess. But she comes up to me and she's like, hey, after work today, do you want to go out back and make out? And I like laughed kind of. And I was like, maybe. And I never followed up on it. But I'm like 99% sure she probably wanted to. And I don't know why the fuck my brain fell out of my fucking head there. Dumb. How frequent of an occurrence is it getting beat up at a casino when you won a ton of money? Not common because there's so much security at casinos. Was she older? I think like 4 or 5 years older maybe, but that was the one big fuck up moment for me, I guess. Yeah, my big fumble. But I looked her up. She's got like 7 kids now and I think she's addicted to smack, so we're good.
Many of you have said, Tree, Brittany is a submissive. She's one of these bratty subs. You should do a collab with her. I said, no, hell I won't. Because I can tell that there is something mentally off with Brittany.
That is why comedians make great dramatic actors, i.e. Robin Williams, Jim Carrey. It all stems from empathy and emotional intelligence. I don't know if that's always true, but Robin Williams and Jim Carrey are both really good serious actors. That is true.
Brittany, all right? She's one of these people that act like she's intellectually and emotionally superior, but she's not. But I didn't know that she was dangerous until this stream. And you know, guys, what I'm about. Those of you who are part of DG, you know what I'm about to see. Okay? You know what you're about to see. But I'm going to explain something because I think you all need to...
Even after so many years, do you still feel any regrets over missed opportunities to fool around? I don't think I would ever have a regret about missing sex. I think you can have regrets around missing potential romantic partners, though. Those are regrets you'll remember. Regrets missing sex, fuck it happens. Unless you're like a virgin forever, but missing potential romantic partners, that could be real regrets.
See something different through the eyes of a femdom. It was like with Mr. Girl, who also Destiny's befriended. When Mr. Girl did that, you're my...
Wait, you could cook? How come you had the chicken fiasco? I don't know the memes. You're actually good at cooking? Like anybody can learn to cook. The chicken fiasco was because it was the first time I'd made grilled chicken in like 8 years and I'd never used that pot in that stove before. So I just I don't know, but also, somebody that line cooks can't necessarily cook real food because line cooking is like a totally different thing than cooking in like a kitchen. Like, I'm trying to think of what our kitchen was in the back. It was 4 stovetops here. God, I could fucking run this shit, dude. Line cooking is like, having a good team in the back too. It's literally like watching like professional like Overwatch or whatever. You have a good lead cook. I think he's usually on grill. And then he's calling tickets. Everybody's communicating. Everybody's like working in conjunction with each other. I think this was like sandwiches, salads. This is like toast and like random shit. You had your grills. You had your flat top. And then you had your like, this is for like chicken and burgers and shit. To cook shit here, like if I wanted to make like a breakfast, or I wanted to make like, let's say like a steak and eggs, right? There, you had things of butter. You put 3 eggs in a pan here. I think they're done in like a minute, and then you flip them with your hand. You just flip them over. Hash browns are going on a flat top. They can take a while, or you could spread them thin, or you could put a weight on them and spread them thin, which might go real fast, but they're going to be crispy. That's fine, though. Everybody likes crispy hash browns. And then for a steak, you just toss it on the hot part of the grill for anywhere from, what was it, like 4 to 8 minutes, depending on how much they want it cooked. Then you flip it over for a couple minutes, and then it's done, and then you serve it. Like everything in a line assembly and like a professional kitchen is like very self-explanatory. Everything's on all the time. Everything works, like blah, 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 blah. This is a way different environment than like you're at home and you're like, okay, I need to cook a grilled chicken. Well, now I've got to turn the stove to some temperature. I've got a pot or pan that I've like never used before, blah, blah. If you're cooking regularly, you'll learn it all. But just because somebody can cook in a line doesn't necessarily mean you can throw them in a home and they can make like a good meal. Like for line cooking, it's all like everything is set out right there. Like the butter is in like a literal fucking containment jar or whatever. Like everything is like way different than preparing food in a home kitchen, I would say. Yeah, that's, yeah.
You're my doll. You're my human doll. He did that video where he made Shaylin cry. I broke that down from a femdom perspective. And it gave a lot of insight into it because Max does that too. Max violates the boundaries of his crazy girlfriend. By the way, F her too. I don't like her anyway. But I was showing you how these crazy...
Did you ever feel morally weird about working at a casino? Having moral qualms with your work is a privilege exclusively reserved for incredibly wealthy people, my dude. Destiny, I grew up in North Platte, then later moved to Lincoln to finish college. I now live in NC, North Carolina. My sexual partners from Nebraska and Iowa were way better than East Coast girls. Have you had similar experiences? Bro, that's a lot of people. There's a lot of girls on the East Coast. I don't know if I would generalize from any region.
People that are into kink, particularly DNS, which Mr. Girl is into, where they do things, it's not pushing boundaries, it's violating someone's boundaries. It's actually doing something to them against their will and they did not give you consent, okay? So, I watched it.
Fuck, sorry, I'm getting so many messages in chat. Cooking is literally just following a recipe. If you're cooking at home, you're not creating new extravagant fucking dishes, just making some shit you got off the internet. I mean, like, kind of, but the hard part, okay, the intimidating part about cooking is that when you start cooking, you think that cooking is about like, okay, this is gonna go in this pan at mid-high temperature for 4 minutes and 25 seconds, and then I have to take this off exactly, and I've got to flip it 2 times, and blah, 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 blah. That's like when you're first getting into cooking, that's the really stressful part about learning how to cook, is that you think it's all rigid. The reality is like, once you start cooking and you know that like every pan, every stove is a little different, basically you throw something in, you know about how long it needs to be in for. You can be off by 30 seconds, you know, pro or minus. You flip it, you can be off by a little bit, whatever. And then you do, like, cooking is very much like just like a thing that you grow into a habit of doing, where it's not like following a particular specific fucking recipe every time. You just develop a feel for the shit that you're cooking on. It's not like yeah. That's why, like, if you want to learn to cook, the most important thing is to just start doing it and then to develop, like, the rhythm and the feel for stuff. Because if you get, like, super hung up on, like, printing out, like, extravagant and exotic recipes and shit, it's just going to be, like, really overwhelming really fast, I think.
This stream, I remember watching it live, where you have Abba, Brittany, Melina, and you have Steven. I'm watching Brittany's demeanor throughout the entire video. And if you guys watch this again, you'll see she takes side shots. She takes some digs. She takes a couple of jabs at Destiny.
Baking is nothing. Don't be near a baker. Don't get a baker. Don't do anything with baking unless you're anorexic, okay? Baking is the #1 way to add 50 pounds to your stomach in literally 6 months, okay? Stay far away from bakers, okay? Everything that goes into and comes out of the oven is the highest calorie, most delicious shit that you will ever have near your face, okay? Don't be very careful about that, okay?
I don't know what happened with the backstory of why she tries to take a couple of digs at Destiny, but something happened that we don't know. But I'm going to show you what she did and why has it been a year later and nobody said anything. So Abba and Brittany, they're all sitting around talking, and all of a sudden, Brittany brings up about slapping Destiny.
Are we lifting?
Yes,
Or Ubering?
Uber.
Okay.
Is that a Kendra?
Cool.
Just steal a car.
Are you sure, Steven?
I sure
What's your way?
You don't want one for the road?
Boys,
How are you going to do it?
How hard do you want me to do it?
What is the point? Am I doing anything for this?
Even if it's after,
This is
I
what
wanted
you
to say
want.
some of the
The
prepping stuff. If you
stream was
actually
requesting it. It wasn't even my idea. I wouldn't even have thought about it. Your stream was like, slap him. And I was like, sounds kind of fun.
Steven,
So,
Fuck, yeah, fuck. I already know what she's going to say. He's getting pressured by people around him. He's expressing discomfort or unsureness right here. It's being presented in the heat of the moment. Like, this is something that should have been discussed ahead of time so there'd be no discomfort or no uncertainty, as this is going to be the...
by the way, every one of these people in here besides Brittany is vanilla. Are we clear? Because I personally asked Abba, is he in DNS? And you want to see why I asked him that, right? So, for anyone that is part of this world, and the world, when I say the scene, I'm going to use that interchangeably. I'm going to say the scene, I'm going to say this world. So whenever I say scene and this world, we're talking about kink, we're talking about domination, we're talking about submission, we're talking about fetish. Are we clear? Do you understand? So when I say scene, when I say world, I'm talking about that, all of that, kink, domination, submission, fetishes. We're talking about all of that, okay? When someone from this scene interacts with a vanilla, you have to clear things up with that person first. The biggest violation in the scene is to do something without consent. And for anyone to sit up here and kink is, I want you guys to understand something. Slapping is a kink. I should know. That is how I realized I was a dom. Real quick story. I was a bodyguard. When I got into policing, I was a bodyguard for some exotic dancers, and one of the dancers came down and said, Tree, this man wants me to slap him. I can't. He's one of my favorite customers. He gave me $100. I'll split it with you.
Okay, hold on. This is advanced cooking technique, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, okay? Another big thing that makes a huge difference for cooking any kind of meat is using a meat thermometer. Being able to target a certain temp is huge. I've never seen a really good cook use a meat thermometer before. I don't know if Lycan has an opinion about that, but is that like a normal thing? Do good cooks usually use meat thermometers?
If you can go up there and slap him, he said, I told him that I have a big black bodyguard that would do it. She's very sexy, but if you come up there and do it, I'll give you the money. I went up there, had no problem. I told him to count to 3. I slapped him at the count of 1, and he basically
Some
clumped.
people said for large cuts, yes, it's very normal. Yes, it's so retarded. He's trolling. Thermometer is important. The thermometer makes the things run out. For big roast, usually, that's more of a barbecue thing. Oh, we are super heated in chat about this one. Wait, hold on. Let's poll on this. We got some strong opinions on both sides.
Next to his tighty whitey fruity balloons. She gave me the whole $100 bill. I was like, we were doing business ever since then, okay? Because it came to me naturally to slap him. And man wants you to slap him sexually? No problem. I'll slap the shit out of you. And the thing about it is, it came to me naturally, and that is something that's not normal for most women. That was consensual. He paid her to do it. Therefore, she transferred the responsibility to me. Slapping is a kink. So when someone requests it, you are to do it. You do it. But when you do it to someone who didn't request it, you're a POS. So here we have Brittany saying the chat. She's using DGG, which is the chat, as an excuse to violate his boundaries, to actually do something. Now, I don't believe this was consensual, and I'm still going to stand on it. I know, Brittany, when you watch this video, you're going to sit up here and say that he could have said no. This is one of the flaws of Steven. Steven doesn't know how to say no to women.
This is true, too, and it's 100%. It's not to women, it's to anybody. It's that I should have put a stronger boundary here. It was 100% true.
And I have seen him allow women to violate his boundaries way too much. And this is one of them. But see, you're not a dom, you're a bottom. Why the hell would you take a dominant position and put your hands on this man?
That's another thing too, is that if you're the person that's like insinuating the activity, then you should be the one that's like being more responsible for your approach. I do this a lot. I try to bring this up every now and then, but I'm always critical of women for not reinforcing boundaries, like enforce a boundary, because so many of the stories we read are from women's perspectives. But like the same criticism is applied also to the man's side too, because the men are usually the ones pushing the sexual interactions. Well, if you feel like you've got to push, and you're on the gas all the time, and the other person's like kind of hesitant, then you need to ease the fuck up, because you're the one that's like driving that interaction. You know, you're not gonna have a problem, the other person is, and if you're not gonna be aware of it, and if they're predisposed to not saying anything about it, then you're just setting yourself up for a bad time.
This is what I'm saying. The reason why nobody put a stop to this, because a lot of people don't realize what's going on. You don't understand the energy exchange. Brittany is not a dom. She never was a dom. She never was a top. Why the hell is she slapping Steven?
Were you apprehensive about being slapped at the time? I mean, not really, but I probably should be. I mean, it's not like she's gonna kill me. The only chefs that don't use meat thermometers are ones who think they're above it. It doesn't cause all the juices to leak out or anything, and it ensures food safety and gives you information about the doneness of the meat that you literally cannot get without using one. Wow.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Why the hell is she putting her hands on this man? And I'm not putting up with this. The chat told me to do it. Baby, I'm a domina. I'm 100% certified FDA bitch. Grade A bitch. None of you clowns, no offense, can sit up here and request me to violate somebody, especially somebody that's my friend. Boundaries. Since when does the chat has the power to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn about your damn request. Who gives a shit about your request? She
Meat
wanted
thermometer
to do
one.
It. No, Steven let her do it. But no, this is what I'm saying, and I'm glad some of
Meat
y'all
thermometer
are trying
kings
to blame
on top.
Steven for this. Sure, Steven could have stand up to her, but my problem with Steven is that he let things go too far. But see, here's my problem with you stupid women. You don't realize when you out of place. You don't realize when you cross the line. You don't realize when you need to take ownership of your own actions. She brought up.
I've worked in tons of restaurants, and every chef I knew taught me to use their hand to tell me if the meat is done. Okay, I've heard this before, and I don't believe it. That thing about like touching your thing here to tell when the meat is done, first of all, you are never touching a fucking steak over and over again to check for doneness. That's delusional, number one. Number two, different cuts of meat are gonna have different tendernesses, right? Like a top, like a tenderloin or whatever is gonna be a lot different than a flank or skirt steak, which is gonna be different than like a fillet, which is gonna be different than like a parts, like even different parts of like a fucking ribeye or whatever are gonna have different like, I don't think you can ever fucking do that shit. I don't believe that.
She brought up the slapping. Tree, did you know Destiny spoke about his boundaries on steam when the Melina thing popped off? You're 100% right. Yeah, but guess what, Krieger? And what happened? He let it go too far. So yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. He let it go too far, and then he wants to talk about his boundaries. But see, I'm sorry. This is her fault. When I say her, I'm talking about Brittany. Okay? I'm talking about Brittany. CJ, can you shut up and let me do my stream? I'm not gonna tell you again. You acting like I'm stupid. Of course I seen the Ava slap part pretty. I got the damn video up. What you think? It got the slap in here. So when I saw this and I saw her go like this and said, the chat wants me to do it. The chat wants me to slap you. The chat, I'm like, no, that's not how that works. So if the chat told you to set his hair on fire, you're gonna sit up here and say, oh, come on, man, the chat wants me to do it. The chat asked me to do it. We don't pay attention to the chat when it comes to actions like this. So, this is she rubbing her hands, but I gotta understand, I gotta show you what I am seeing, okay? And then I'm gonna hit play. I gotta show you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a bottom trying to top her.
Do you sort out the women who cannot set boundaries, or do you still take what you can get? I think that I think people talk about setting boundaries a lot, but when they talk about setting boundaries, they only talk about it from the women's side, because the damage that can happen if you're not enforcing boundaries is like rape, which is annoying. However, there's a lot of manipulative or boundary violating things that women can do that just don't get talked about as much because the consequences are usually not as severe for men. But I don't want to go run down this whole trade right now. But like, for instance, I actually think that it is. Here's something that I will say. You have this concept of a fuckboy. So it's a guy who pretends that he's going to date a girl, and he does that just so that she fucks him, okay? I would argue that's manipulative, and you shouldn't do that. But there's never any criticism for a woman who knows that a guy isn't interested in her, really, but she keeps, like, trying to basically get him to interact with her by flaunting sex. Like, hey, do you want to hang out tonight? Blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, I don't know, I'm kind of busy. She's like, oh, well, maybe I come over. Maybe we can fuck, whatever. It's like, the guy's like, okay, yeah, fuck it, sure, come over. I think that's actually manipulative from the woman's part. But nobody ever talks about women being manipulative with offers of sex because of weird, like, misogynistic, I would say, views of like how sex works. Like, oh, well, she's offering sex to get the guy to do something, but like women are the ones who are always at danger during sex and blah, blah, blah. But I would argue that's just as manipulative as a guy being a fuckboy. It's just that the consequences for the guy are usually not as severe. It's just like emotional manipulation or shit like that, you know?
Friend who's vanilla.
Find find your footage and get the perfect sound effects all in one place. Go to artlist.io and check out.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's popping in. Steve about to react to this video by Jamar. It's titled "She Can't Stop Lying." I'm looking at the description. It says there's a streamer and she found herself in some hot water, apparently. These streamers been acting out lately. I don't know what's going on, but they have been showing their asses. Let's see what she's lying about. Let's watch.
There's a Twitch streamer out there named Nadia, and she actually plays games, believe it or not, and doesn't just sit around in a bathtub for a bunch of prepubescent boy viewers. Well, not always. Either way, she's been streaming since 2021 and managed to gain a career mostly off of viral TikTok clips where she brags about her ability to aim on Call of Duty.
I'm going to show you guys the key to have aim like mine. So first, you have to make sure you're on controller, and then you go to controller settings and make sure to put the aim response perf type to dynamic. Once you do that, people will start thinking you have aimbot like this.
Now, almost immediately, people found problems with her streams and her gameplay, claiming that she was cheating.
Real quick, let me play this in 0.5 speed so you can see just how fast this happens.
Well, I don't know. Maybe she is lying, but trying to analyze the clip is a
10
lot.
plus years I've been playing Call of Duty. That has not happened to me once.
Some said she was straight up using an aimbot, others said she was using some sort of wall hacks. Either way, this is a big no-no in the competitive gaming scene, and instead of just addressing these rumors straight up and providing some sort of proof that she was indeed not cheating, she kind of played into the accusation, mocking these detractors in the process.
I decided to turn off the aimbot for one day to see what I do, and I hit one of the nastiest clips you'll ever see. So maybe this clip right here will change your mind about me and show you why I am the best Warzone player, even without cheats.
So, you do use cheats?
Now, while it was never technically proven that she was indeed cheating, when she would go to these Call of Duty events where obviously you cannot bring the cheating software with you, she was pretty damn bad at the game compared to other people considered professional players.
No, she was cheating.
Now, after this massive eruption onto the gaming scene, her numbers would begin to dip across the board in terms of her viewership, as she more or less seemed like a one-trick pony. And this in turn led her to a toxic place, with people spamming her with comments every single day about her downfall and these cheating accusations. And it got to the point that she was so upset about this narrative surrounding her name that she would even dox a viewer who joked about her cheating.
So I just want to say, Daddy Slayer, I know you used your name as Daddy Slayer, and you said, enjoy using cheats, but what you don't know is that when you send me money on PayPal, it actually gives me your full name, so thank you for the $1 dono.
But despite breaking Twitch terms of service, she was unbanned just a few hours later, causing many people to debate should she have been banned longer by Twitch.
This was a major controversy online, as many in the streaming community felt this should be a bannable offense. In the end, she would get a 5-hour slap on the wrist for this from Twitch. Okay, time's up. Now get out. Which is not surprising considering the simp TOS over there. And while she did end up apologizing,
I got banned for sharing personal information about somebody. So I kept getting a donation that popped on my stream labels, and it was a person that was sending me hate, and the name was anonymous. When you get a donation on your phone, the name of the person pops up. So I put person's first and last name. And I do apologize to Twitch, and I appreciate them for unbanning me, by the way. Thank you very much.
And this was kind of the nail in the coffin for her reputation in the gaming community. From here, she would lean into other content and would even begin her OF era, where she began selling spicy content online. Obviously, with a lot of her and other TikTok/gaming-based channels having an audience of kids to teenagers, a lot of people thought this wasn't a great look. Add that to the fact that she started doing staged content, and she pretty much became a running joke online. Now, I tell you guys all of that information because I did want to give you guys some background into her story and how she's really tarnished her reputation over the last couple of years. Now, with all of that being said, yesterday she caused yet another stir online when she tweeted out that she was completely blacklisted from playing Call of Duty tournaments She claims this is all for posting bikini pictures and that she never posted nudity once in her life. And then she goes on to play the sexism card saying, again, the guys in the COD community can post their bare ass on social media, GG's. And this is not the first time that she has complained about this very same thing while also claiming sexism. And don't get me wrong, while the gaming community can definitely be a bit of a boys' club, I do not think in this situation that that's what this is about. I believe it was actually just a couple of months ago when she was complaining about this very same thing. I don't remember if she was not invited to TwitchCon or another Call of Duty event. But either way, she went on a tangent about how it wasn't fair. And she went on to get absolutely bodied by the gaming community. I mean, when you have cheating accusations, when you've doxed someone in the past, and on top of that, you're also selling intimate pictures of yourself, I can see why you would not be invited to these things. I mean, if you go onto her exclusive content page, you can even see it here. She says, "Welcome to my page, only a sneak peek of what's here." And the first picture available on here to everyone, because you know I didn't pay for this, is her standing showing off her whole butt with the Call of Duty logo in the background of the photo. Other videos have captions like this. This is 1000% the craziest video I'm putting up so far of Arza and I, which is some girl she's making out with. Please do not make me regret uploading this. Yes, it's almost 2 minutes long. Lifting that top off and you can see it closer and clearer than ever before. I think these shorts are way too short on me from the other side. Too much showing. Took my skirt off on the bonus pic. Quality insane. I made sure to use flash for you. And to me, it's really one of those things where you cannot like have your cake and eat it too. And I can see why they would think that this woman is not a great representation for the Call of Duty brand. I promise you it's not some sexist thing. Like if Pokemon all of a sudden wanted to get involved with Call of Duty, they would literally be on their hands and knees kissing her feet. I mean, I would even argue that this chick Nadia only has a gaming career online because she is a woman. Either way, she continues to claim sexism, saying doing a $6,900 2v2 co-ed buy-in tournament, being banned won't stop me, come watch me win. Of course, the narrative still continues. People say she's been blacklisted because she used cheats. Overall, I just think she's not very good for this community in general. She's kind of been a toxic creator. She even complains that they had invited her to come out to one of their next events, but then when it actually rolled around, I guess they more or less ghosted her. I suppose these are DMs between her and someone who helps host these events, where they say, "That's all good, we'll make sure we get you a captain spot in the next resurgence we host. You're the bomb." And she replies, "Thank you, I'm sorry, I'm for sure playing COD again."
What if
The promise of better work wasn't just something we dreamed about, but something we found.
This might be the one.
Or better yet,
No way.
something that found us.
I got the interview.
Sometimes, the only thing more difficult than running a business is finding the right words to market it. Lucky for you, our new AI content generator doesn't sweat words. Just tell it what you want to.
Fish paint the ocean, la session be like Morocco.
Purdue Global was an investment in myself. I think as women and mothers, you often shove that investment onto other people. I wouldn't have done it when my kids were little because they were my investment. So to come back later and do it for me, it's the only time.
Purdue Global made it happen because we could do it at night after our jobs, do it after supporting our kids and our family and our grandkids, husbands, spouses.
You kind of come back to yourself after the getting a career started, the getting a family started, the getting, your house established and whatnot. And so it circles back around to you. We are sisters in our 50s, graduating, gonna walk together.
This is our comeback. Start yours at purdueglobal.edu.
Find your footage and get the perfect sound effects all in one place. Go to artlist.io and check out the brand new suggested SFX tool. Work faster than ever by getting top quality footage with the right sound effects in one simple workflow. Go to artlist.io and start creating without limits.
Badass. You know.
Tune into the king of songs and blues.
Initiating rage process.
I'm unavailable. They know they see me. 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 And I'm sorry for who won't be my matter. Sorry, I'm only human. So make nobody para. Them say I carry woman. She na man way I for carry. Fuck all the rumors. I be dead when I talk say I be pastor. If you know you it can walk. If it's not I got talk. Go. I did your day, me I did for the day, girl I'm unavailable.
Hi everyone, my name is Efrain. Today I'll be talking about my favorite features on the Wi-Fi Smart Video Doorbell wired with chime from Ring, which are the night vision sharp contrast, 1080p HD two-way talk, and also the quick reply feature. So let's get right to it.
I'll be on the phone, calling you tonight. I wanna make you show me, make we know the fight. I don't wanna sleep alone, wanna hold you tight. But I fool my eyes, but I'll be alright. Forever, on my laptop, on my keto, on my sheet on. Say them go feel it, them go run it down. Them go hold it, them go. Say them go feel it, them go run it down. Them go hold it, them go. I be talking to myself, and I don't even notice. She got me feeling like a zombie, and she dey shoot like Chuck Norris. The way she put her body down, you got me falling truly. I just touched down, when I see you now. I've been on the phone, calling you tonight. I wanna make you show me, make we know the fight. I don't wanna sleep alone, wanna hold you.
We know this story, the endless quest for your perfect foundation. With Sephora's exclusive Color IQ technology, we'll guide you to a shade you'll love. Come in and discover your match at Sephora.
It's Kelpie Vibes.
Yeah.
Baby, you know that I'm in a choco. Baby, you know that I'm in a choco. Baby, you know that I'm in a choco. Angelina, you the cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver. I no go fall in your hand never. So now me you could love forever. I'm a cocky no feeble letter. I'm a Angelina, with my Angelina. Oh me all down. Anytime when I see you for the club or the television, your body. Sure you know say the thing when you carry 50 kill somebody. You know I feel a vibe, you feel a vibe, so baby whine about me. Yeah, and I know you shy, but it's cool when we're making love. On the low, 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 on the low. Angelina, you the cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver. I no go fall in your hand never. So now me you could love forever. I'm a cocky no feeble letter. I'm a Angelina, I'm a Angelina. Oh no, so when I want to come out, make a signal you. Why you want to request on me like I interview? I'm tryna put the ring on your finger too. And be a better guy, be a better guy. On the low, 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 on the low. Angelina, you the cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver. I no go fall in your hand never. So now me you could love forever. I'm a cocky no feeble letter. I'm a Angelina, I'm a Angelina. Josu.
Mais comment ça, le monde est hyper. Tu croyais quoi, qu'on serait... Y'a pas moyen, dja dja. J'suis pas ta cata, dja dja. Genre, en katana, baby, tu donnes ça. Tu penses à moi, j'pense à faire de l'argent. J'suis pas ta daronne, j'te fais pas l'amour. C'est pas comme ça qu'on fait les choses. Putain, si tu déconnes, c'est pas comme ça qu'on fait les choses. Putain, mais tu déconnes, c'est pas comme ça qu'on fait les choses. Oh, dja dja, y'a pas moyen, dja dja. J'suis pas ta cata, dja dja. Genre, en katana, baby, tu dettes ça. Oh, dja dja, y'a pas moyen, dja dja. J'suis pas ta cata, dja dja. Genre, en katana, baby, tu dettes ça. Oh, dja dja, y'a pas moyen, dja dja. J'suis pas ta cata, dja dja. Genre, en katana, baby, tu dettes ça. Oh, dja dja, y'a pas moyen, dja dja. J'suis pas ta cata, dja dja. Genre, en katana, baby, tu dettes ça. Oh, dja dja, j'suis pas ta cata, dja dja.
Want to know how I took my business to the next level? It's simple. It's Shopify. Shopify has all...
DJ Bolt in the building.
Sabi girl no dey too like talk. Animals dey in human form. Body man nobody like walk, but you must hustle if you want job. You no finish dem won't fight us. If them dey run them no fit catch up. I know they form say I too righteous. No con they form say you too like us. You no get the time for the hate and the bad energy. Got my mind on my money. Make you dance like broccoli. Steady green like broccoli. Steady on my grind, oh yeah, what they want telling me. Could deny my fantasy. They want to check if my tap be no wrong. But it dey rush well, it be much. Now gotta make my tap be the rush. The kind money we touch, yeah. It dey rush well, it be much. No be hype, everybody they crush. There's no darling with us. You never thought you dey from papas. Which kind money we never see before. Cause hello me, got me feeling I'm the one. Ajay. Can never take my cake away. Ajay, you can't count my grace. I just did my lane. You no get the time for the hate and the bad energy. Got my mind on my money. Make you dance like broccoli. Steady green like broccoli. Steady on my grind, oh yeah, what they want telling me. Could deny my fantasy. They want to check if my tap. But it dey rush well, it be much. Now gotta make my tap be the rush. The kind money we touch, yeah. It dey rush well, it be much. No be hype, everybody they crush. There's no darling with us. Cause it dey rush well, it be much. Now gotta make my tap be the rush. The kind money we touch. It dey rush well, it be much. No be hype, everybody they crush. No darling with us. There's no darling.
And I've been living fast life, but I see it in slow. Oh no, and you see my lifestyle, I got G's in the turbo. See many people there outside where they feed man's oboe. Oh no, and me I stand the defender like Joseph Yobo.
My girl say she want Netflix and chill. So I chatty get even warning. If you fall in love, Kelly satin. You go to breakfast, I'm not capping. Can you see dripple, I'm not catching. I'm not faking this, no fugazi. You see these feelings, I'm not catching. I'm a quest and feet, I just want the happiness. If I broke, now my business. I'ma show you, you go right. All I care for the night. Happiness. If I broke, now my business. I'ma show you, you go right. All I care for the night.
F-I-N-E-S-S-E, if it be the reason why your baba want to jealous me. If you want to take I'm serious, I do top speed. No fit to resonate, I'm on a different frequency. I don't think it's necessary. I'll be done with just somebody that could do like me. When I be like Musala coming off the right wing, I cut through your defender, you no need to tell me. I'm a horse, finesse. And you know, send me, I'm a snap. And I go carry go. If me, I got money past you. If you're not careful, finesse. You know, send me, I'm a snap. And I go carry go. If me, I got money past you. If you're not careful,
happiness. If I broke, now my business. I'ma show you, you go right. All I care for the night. Happiness. If I broke, now my business. All I show you, you go right. All I care for the night.
Baby, you know that I'm in a choco. Baby, you know that I'm in a choco. Baby, you know that I'm in a choco.
Angelina, you the cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver. I no go fall in your hand never. So now me you could love forever. I'm a cocky no feeble letter. I'm a Angelina, with my Angelina. Oh me all down. Anytime when I see you for the club or the television, your body. Sure you know say the thing when you carry 50 kill somebody. You know I feel a vibe, you feel a vibe, so baby whine about me. Yeah, and I know you shy, but it's cool when we're making love. On the low, 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 on the low.
A bag full of feelings and a house full of regrets. This baggage is can't fit in no plane, don't mean to digress. I wanna know, what's the reason why you move this slow? As you move, no, they cross my lane. Sure, the nonsense, my best, mommy. My best, mommy. If you get the problem, my best, mommy. My best, mommy. I defy my own demons, don't you see? Don't you see if you get the problem? My grace, mommy, my grace, mommy. No. Oh, yeah, mommy, choco, mommy, go. And I know for life for you, my.
you.